of thousands it was, and Republicans didn't have any change.
Well, 64,000.
64,000. There you go. 64,000 votes. So a jump there that suddenly appeared, 64,000 votes. Who knows where they came from?
It tied the race. Tied it up.
Exactly. And you see the same thing over in Wisconsin right here. This was, I think, 168,000 votes. 138,000 was it, Tim?
Yeah, 138.
138,000. You see the same. And see, look, this makes no sense. This is not even statistically possible where you have linear movement along voting like this, so you have a skyrocket. It should have been moving along.
The argument is these are votes that came in, and they all came in at once. But the thing that's the irony of it, every last one of them broke for Biden.
There was not a Trump vote in there. They all vote, and you do not have a place in any state. Maybe Dixville's Notch, where there were 5 voters at the first thing, and they all 5 voted for Biden. Maybe there, but not when you have something of 138,000. You don't all break that way, and it still shouldn't be linear because you have so many counters that are counting across the way that they're all tallying and reporting, and you don't bunch them in and report one thing. So that doesn't look right for the process. It certainly does not look right for the fact that there is no place of 138,000 where you don't have both candidates represented. I mean, even the bluest city, you're still going to have somebody voting for the other party. And so these two things, it would not be a tight race right now had that's not occurred. And this looks like it occurred maybe 4:30 in the morning. This is about 6:30 in the morning.
6:23 a.m.
There you go.
Here.
Well, 6:23 here.
There.
Yeah, it looks like about 4:30 maybe that it shot up here. So those are the two charts. And now you hear that Nevada has shut down. They're suddenly not counting anymore. So there's some crazy stuff going.
If you had to make a prediction of why would they stop counting in Nevada? I mean, people at home are trying to figure out, what? It's the middle of the day. Why would you even stop?
That's what's inexplicable by all logical, by all political counts. It makes no sense at all. So you would still have people working. You would still have people counting through the day, through the night, trying to get the tally. It makes no sense why you shut everyone down.
Yeah, all right. Tim Barton, I have a question for you. Now, this is not scientific. I'm not reporting it as fact, but we're getting word that more people voted in Wisconsin than are registered voters.
Yeah, so I've seen those numbers as well. That's gone over social media, and this is something that certainly the Secretary of State's going to look at that. There are rosters for people that are registered in the state, and we know that there are people sometimes who are not legal constitutional voters who will vote in elections. That kind of stuff does happen, and that's why you always measure the ballots, and you want to make sure the people who are voting are people that are legally allowed to register. It's possible that what is on the register, they're maybe looking at what was registered from the beginning of this year, from last year. Maybe there were people moving into the state who are now legal voters, and they just were not on the roster from the last time it was. So it's possible that there are legal voters who are not on that roll. But when you have 100% turnout and then you add to it, you're not going to have in a county, if there's 50,000 eligible voters, you will almost never find 50,000 people actually voted. There's always some people that don't show up and don't vote. So to have 100% turnout and then more than 100% turnout, that doesn't seem right. And so that's certainly something that will be looked at. And this is one of the reasons that a lot of people are estimating that some of this will be resolved in court. And this could be a court battle for a month or two. It's one of the reasons we're very grateful that President Trump was able to get Amy Coney Barrett on the Supreme Court to help be one of those deciding votes. So when some of this fraudulent stuff, at least by all appearances, does come up, then you have people that do care about the Constitution, that do care about the rule of law, that are going to say, well, this is legal, this is not legal. And so if it does go to court, we feel pretty good about the fact that justice will be served based on whatever the evidence is.
And Gene, let me add to that a couple of things that happened just before the election. There were some efforts before the election to try to clean up ballot voter rolls. And there were several states where there were hundreds of thousands of dead people still on the rolls, which is a problem. And so the tendency is that at blue states, they don't like to clean up their voter rolls. They just want it to be as open for everybody as possible, and so they do not monitor that. We saw a report that there were 52,000 voters that voted both in New York and in Florida, voted in both places. Neither state was cleaning up its voter rolls. Florida's done a good job since then of cleaning it up. And we saw a report before the election that one entity, a nonprofit entity, had gone back and looked at the last 2 elections and found 140,000 incidents of voting fraud just in the last 2 elections. So we keep hearing the blue states and blue governors say, oh, voting fraud doesn't occur. That's all made up by Republicans. That's not accurate, and there's a number of reports out there. But as Tim just indicated, when you have more than 100,000, more than 100% voting, you're either not maintaining your voting records very well, which is a real problem. You should be doing that, the integrity of the vote, or you've got something fraudulent going on. Either way, it's just not good practice.
So I'll give you an update on Nevada. We just got clarification on why. They're too busy counting votes to report any numbers. So that's what it is, Gene.
No.
Well, thank you for that, Greg. That makes no sense. Thank you. All right, let's get Michelle Bachman.
Somebody
Oh,
from
wait.
Texas to help.
Yeah, we can send some Texans
I've got
up there.
some good counters
Have all
and
their-
talkers.
And they have all their fingers and toes, and
Yeah.
they can do it. All right.